All right. I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary, or welcome back. I think I'll call this something like Big Head Goudey Cartoon Hunting at the 2025 National. I just got back. It's Saturday night. Today was a travel day for me. Had a blast. Met a lot of people and also hung out with people that I've seen at past nationals. So it was just fantastic. Got to the National on Tuesday and Tuesday evening, and so, connected with some people, just kind of chilled. The next day I had plenty of time to go over and pick up my 5-day pass. The lines were really short when I went. And then as soon as it was, time to go in, like 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday night, it was full on Big Head Goudey cartoon. Big game hunting, man. Woohoo! Oh, sure, I was looking through the cases and I was looking, not just for the 38 Goudeys with cartoons, but, looking at other cards as well, had a mental want list. But really, primarily, I was focused on those cartoons. And, I didn't see much. I spent 5 hours on the show floor and I saw very few of them. I mean, a few where the condition wasn't going to work, or maybe I already had the card, or the dealer just wanted an insane, I thought was an insane price. So I saw a few of those, but not even that many of those, really. I'm not even sure I saw any I already had where I would have bought that one if I did not already have it, where the price was reasonable and I was happy with the condition. I'm not even sure I found any of those. So very sparse. And then, I was a little bit, I was overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed. My typical Wednesday night. So anyway, Thursday, you got 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. back at it. I'm on that show floor on Thursday. I ran into a lot of people along the way, of course. Thursday, though, in the morning, I was on a mission. So I pretty much, on my own was just trying to systematically do more of the national. And of course, I'd run into someone and chat for a minute or so and then carry on. And I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't keep track of the time, but it was a while. It might have been noon. It might have been 1. So I'm probably, between the 2 days, like 8 hours or more into this of just walking the show floor. And I went through what some are calling the carnival area. I guess there was maybe more than one carnival area, with all of the hullabaloo where they don't really have tables of people selling cards, but all of the different vendors and hullabaloo. So I'm like, why am I even going through here? I mean, I know there's an interactive map, and I had looked at it quite a bit actually prior to the National, but I'm like, why am I even going through here? Well, I think I might recall something on the other side, so I better carry on. So I finally got to the other side. Like I say, that was sometime around, maybe 1 o'clock on Thursday. I'm not really sure. And finally, I came to a couple of cartoons. You know what? I just realized I'm gonna grab my laptop here so I can see, where these cartoons came from. Let me pause this for a second. All right, J&D Sports Cards, Joe Garoni. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. He had two that I did not have. Now, they were not priced. I checked them out. I liked them both. I'm not super picky about these. My pickiness is coming down, for better or for worse. I think for better. But especially, these are 38 Goudeys with cartoons, so I'm not as picky as I would be with, like, say, 1960s Topps cards or something like that. So we had 2 of them. And I looked at him, I'm like, oh yeah, I want these. And so I'm like, hey, can I bundle and save? And he had a sheet, so he's looking up on the sheet. He didn't have prices on the individual cards, but he had them on a sheet that he had created, probably before the National. So he's like, well, I've got the 2 of them at $900, and I will give you the pair for $800. And I said, I didn't even look at comps. I just said, is that around comps? And he said, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll take them. When I came home, I kind of checked, and that seemed, that seemed reasonable. And I like them. So let me turn this camera around and show you what I got. Let's see here. All right. So Two for 800. Now I think this one's a bit less expensive, so I'm calling this one 350, and I'm calling the other one 450. Hall of Famer Al Lopez in a Too Good to Be 2 plus 2.5. What do you think? I mean, that's, you're like, what do you mean you're not being picky, Adam? This thing is stunning. It really is. I mean, if it had been less stunning, I still would have bought it. But, I just love these things. So it doesn't have to have this mega eye appeal. But this one to me is just like, it's blowing me away. Got to check out these cartoons. Comes from Tampa, Florida, and he's a genuine Spaniard. Dylan and I are collecting this set. We're both going to get there. He talked about the different animals. Here's the bee. So happy to add this to my collection. I know he's got this one. I keep thinking he has ones, and then he ends up, not having some that I think he has. But I'm pretty much certain he's got this one. Senior Lopez is a real honey gatherer for those bees. I mean, it's getting kind of corny, but I love it. There he is as a bee. And the boys don't steal many bases on Mr. Lopez. No, sir. What I believe makes this a Too Good to Be 2.5. A little bit of wrinkling down here, but that doesn't bother me a bit. There was a time it would. Now I'm like, this thing is just freaking gorgeous. Oh, yeah. And the back, what's going on? Freaking gorgeous as well. So thank you, J&D Sports Cards, Joe Garoni, if I'm saying your name right. And he also had this one. I'm calling this one 450. We've got the Hall of Famer, Bobby Dorr. Hope I'm saying his name right. And look at that beauty. Now notice, that's pretty off center. But you know what? That doesn't bother me for this issue. Because, hey, what I'm mostly concerned about is just the color. And, I think this is stunning. It's very sharp. And with that yellow border, you don't really hardly, at least I don't really hardly notice it. So super stoked to have this. And these are so tough. A 14-karat youngster. Bobby covers that second base sector like a tent. I mean, I just love these cartoons. Starred in Hollywood. Did I mention I love the cartoons? Starred on Hollywood team prior to joining Red Sox. And, wow, yeah. The colors, the cartoons, the craziness of these cards. I know they're kind of polarizing. You love them or you don't love them. But, you think they're fantastic or you generally are like, not really. But I'm in the category of people that think they are just the bee's knees. I should go back to Lopez and show that bee again. Why does it say 312? They started numbering these after the 1933 Goudey set, and then they had 24 without cartoons, and then they made another 24 with. Those were numbers, I think, 265 to 288. They were going to make even 24 more from 289 to 312. Or let's see. Yeah, that sounds about right. So that is just crazy, like we know that they made 24 without cartoons and then the same 24 with, and they were trying to get people to think that they needed these cards to complete their 33 Goudey set, which is sort of silly because it's 5 years later and these cards are quite a bit different than 33 Goudey, although similar on the back. Maybe very similar on the back. I need to go take a look again at 33 Goudey. And then they were making 24 more. What the heck was going to be on those? I think maybe we'll never know. It'd be cool if somebody could find out. All right, so I was on cloud, at least cloud mint 9, at least. I got these two and I was like, wow, man, if I don't get anything else at the National, I am just absolutely super stoked. And then, it comes in waves because I don't know how much later it was. I'm going to say less than a half hour, but again, I'm not sure. I'm cruising around and I saw it. This was my big pickup at the National, actually. I didn't, spend as much as the last few years. This was $800. And that was the most I spent on a single item. This was in a case. It was almost felt unloved, like there wasn't too much in that case. It was the dealer's end case, and he was kind of over busy with some customers where he had more stuff in display cases. And I caught his attention. I said, could I look at the Greenberg? He's like, yeah, sure, just open up the case, so which is kind of interesting, that he just let me open it up and look at it. And I'm like, my heart's pounding because I've really wanted this Greenberg for a long time. And Double D knows, he got one when we were at the National together 2 years ago. And so, I'm like, I hope I like this thing. I hope I like this thing. And I look at it on both sides. I'm like, okay, I like it. Woohoo! And it's a good thing I'm not as picky as I used to be. So it had a sticker 950 on it. And I actually thought that was, not unreasonable. Maybe slightly high, but maybe not. And especially since I can't find the darn thing. But, it seemed within reason. I think it was within reason for sure. And so I would have paid the $950 if I needed to, but of course I always try to get a discount. Sometimes I'll just make an offer like, would you take $850? But this time I don't know, as the spirit moves me, I just say different things, like on the two that you're looking at now, I said, hey, I'd like to bundle and save. Could I bundle and save on these? And then for this one, I said, do you have a new customer discount? And he looks at me and, he was a little bit away and there was so much noise. I mean, my hearing's good, but there was so much noise. And he just sternly points his finger kind of like he's being tough in negotiations. He says, 800. And I couldn't tell if he said 800 or 900 because there's so much noise. And I was like, well, what was that? And he gets a little sterner and points his finger and says, 800 and cash. It's got to be cash. And I reach my hand out. I'm like, you've got a deal. And so I was super stoked. My big pickup of the 2025 National. Here it is. That damn Hank Greenberg. And I say the damn Hank Greenberg because, everybody buys up his cards. You can't get them. Yeah, it's like this guy. What the hell, man? Finally, success. Oh, another animal, Dylan. Yeah, we like him. Detroit. Let me get that where you can see it. That's probably about the best distance. We like him. And then it says Detroit on tied to the tail of the tiger because he's a tiger. Hank plays a classy first bag. I believe he's the only player, I don't know, unless that's changed more recently, to win an MVP in two positions. I think once as a first baseman and then once in the outfield. Hank is a New York City boy and attended New York University. Greenberg is a home run hitter. His batting is responsible for the Tigers' fine record for the past 4 seasons. Chalk up 4 more. Hank is at it again. Oh, man. I love this city, too. These cards are just, they are so freaking cool. There's the back. Doesn't that look nice and vintagey? They should get a 10 for being so vintagey. All right. Now, I did get, let's see, 1, 2, 4 other cards at the National. I guess 2 of them people call cards, but, it depends on how strict your definition of cards. I'm going to show those at another time. However, I've got a bonus here. Something came in the mail today that's going to go really well with these 3. And so I picked it up, when I got home from the airport. It's something I had bought just roughly a couple days before the National at auction. And then it came a couple days after the National. Oh, let me say, working on the 24 with cartoons, that's number 13, 14, and 15. So here comes number 16 to get me 16/24 or 2/3 of the way there. In a Fantastic 5, Frank Damari, if I'm saying his name right. Look at that beauty. Now, I didn't need a 5, but, hey, these don't come up very often. And I said, I'm not going to let this go cheap. I don't remember what my high bid was. I think it might have been something like $163 or something, but I got it for $147.50, no sales tax. Is that, wow, look at those colors. Is that just pops? Yes, it does. Rather than asking a question, I'm going to make a statement. This bad boy pops. Yeah. Woo! Another animal. See it? The cub? Oh, that's bad, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, my humor needs help. Came up from Sacramento Coast League. Frank has been riding high. Oh, there is another animal. And it is a cub. Okay, well, hey. Frank has been riding high, white, and handsome ever since he joined the Chicago Cubs. I mean, how cool is that? And this might be my favorite cartoon so far. It's right up there, if not my favorite. His bat is a nightmare to national twirlers, and there's the bat giving him a nightmare. I'd get closer, but I think that's about that's about where it's going to be for the focus. And can he patrol his beat? Oh boy. It's like a police officer singing, whistling, and controlling his beat there. Yeah, I mean, these three, I think, this has like 3 A+ cartoons here. I mean, I like all the cartoons. Let's check out the back. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Did I ever mention why I like these things? 24. I'm not really a set completer, but I can do 24, Dylan's inspired me. I've inspired Dylan. We've inspired each other. We're right around, I think I might have passed him up now unless he's picked some up and he hasn't mentioned it. But if he picked any up, he would have let me know. He couldn't have held back, I don't think. But, he's right up there around 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. So I think we're right about the same place. So I'm 16/24, as I mentioned, 2/3, but I just love these things because you got that glorious colors, the cartoony bodies, and then the black and white cartoons. Only 24, so it's manageable. They're tough to find. I'm having an absolute blast. Let me turn this camera around. I can't make a 5-minute video. I might as well quit thinking I can. I always think I'm going to make a 5-minute video. All right. Wow. Yeah. Not going to mention names because, I'd forget some, yada, yada. But, had a great time. Had a blast. Showing you my big pickup, the Greenberg, together with, two other 38 Goudey heads up with cartoons that I saw at the National. And, then one that came in the mail that I bought just pre-National. I tell you what, I scoured, I probably missed something, right? But at least as far as what was out at dealer tables, I scoured, the entire National. Not slim pickings. I found a few that I didn't have that were ungraded, but they were pretty low grade. They could have worked, but I didn't want to buy ungraded. I just didn't know what was going on. That same dealer had a Johnny Mize Bond bread that clearly was altered, and he was still asking more than I paid for mine in a very good 3. And that kind of, it's like, yeah, if that's out there like that, I don't know. I just didn't want to risk it. I don't have I think I'm pretty good at getting a sense of grade. I'm certainly very good at knowing what I like. But as far as whether or not something's been altered or trimmed or whatever, sure, I could kind of measure the size or compare it to a known card, but I don't trust my abilities there. Plus, I don't want to really hassle with sending something to grading and having to wait a long time to get it back. So I thought, I'm just going to, if I get desperate, like I'm down to a few and just truly couldn't find them after a while, well, yeah, I'd consider buying some ungraded and sending them in, but I think I'll be able to find them graded. And I'm slab gnostic, so, they could be, SGC, PSA. I'd prefer Sports Collectors Digest, but you don't see their slabs too often. All right. Well, I've been blabbing on. Thank you. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I'm going to turn this around so you can look at these glorious cartoons one more time, but I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my collecting brothers and sisters. And now here's one more look at the Fantastic Four. Woohoo!